We are in the Owens Media Center. Welcome back to Game Day Nation with a special guest. We always say here in Toledo that you will do better in Toledo, but Zia Cooke, you've done great all around the world, from Rogers to South Carolina to LA with the Sparks, Townsville in Australia. Good to have you here with us.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing real good. I'm super excited to be back home with my family. I had a few good months over in Australia. It was good for me, but now I'm just trying to spend Christmas with my family and enjoy my time with them.
It's a totally different deal, I would imagine. Like, basketball is basketball wherever. Sport is an international language. But what is it like playing and living in a totally different country?
It's tough. It was tough for me in the beginning just because I'm a huge family girl. Like, I really was homesick the whole time. But also, it's a good experience. It gave me an opportunity to kind of grow up a little bit, be on my own, get different experiences with different people, different food. It really just grew me up more than anything. But it was a great experience for me.
You know, sports have a way of doing that sometimes, too. You go through peaks like winning a national championship. There's some valleys sometimes, too. And when we spoke to you last time, your second season in LA, you said you were building a monster, right? What are you building towards in year 3?
Oh, the same thing. Like I said, a monster. I think I got a lot to prove. So I'm super excited for what's to come. I think going overseas was really just to show that how much I love the game and to show that I'm serious about it. And I plan on going back over there before the season starts. And yeah, I definitely want everyone to notice the things that I've been working on, and I want it to be able to show on the court. And I also would love to have a lot of play time, so that's what I'm working towards.
For sure. You've got a new coach, too. How much interaction is there between the two of you?
Oh, yeah, we've been having a lot of interaction. I'm actually talking to her, I think, tomorrow. We're meeting to have a conversation. So I think it's super important for me to build a relationship with her. That way, when I go into training camp, we kind of already have a feel for each other, and we'll just go from there.
You've built such a good relationship with everybody here, too. Like, one of the great highlights, I think, of the holiday season for all the kids here is knowing that they get to see you and you've got the holiday giveaway. That's coming up tomorrow. For people who aren't familiar with this, what can they look forward to Saturday morning?
Oh, man, you guys can look forward to just a lot of fun. I'm super excited to be able to do this with Glass City. Shout out to them for allowing me to use Metro Park to host this. This is my second year doing, no, it's actually my third, but this is the second biggest one, so I'm super excited for it. Bring the kiddos out. I'm gonna be there to take pictures. I was gonna try to surprise everybody, but people started to see me around, so they know I'm here. So
you can't hide.
Yeah,
I
can't really hide. So I definitely want everybody to come out. I'm super excited to do this for my city, and as much as I can give back, I always will.
And like, there's so many people who go into this too. Like, it's from the goodness of your heart. Your family plays a huge role. And you've got like all these sponsors, all these backers. Like, everybody helps make this a Merry Christmas for people.
Man, I got an army behind me. Like, I got my brother here with me, my best friend with me right now, supporting me. So, like I said, I got people around me that love to see me doing what I'm doing, but I wouldn't be able to do it without them. Especially when I'm going through my own personal things. I have people around me that make sure I'm good. And then, man, shout out to my mom, too. My mom is the one that really got everything put together. She's definitely the voice behind everything that I do in the community.
All right, hey, shout out to you for everything you've accomplished on the basketball court, too. Yeah. We've been celebrating, with the help of First Solar, the top 20 athletes over the last 20 years in the BCSN era. And no surprise, by the way, this list is in alphabetical order, but no surprise, Zia Cooke, you are one of the top 20 from the BCSN era. And I think if you look at this list, right, starts up with Kate Octor, but you go around Casey Baumhauer, Asia Bishop, Sasha Daly. I think when you go through this, you're going to see a lot of people that Rhett Boyd recognizes, that Deon Thompson recognizes, and maybe even some people that you have played against. Who are some of the best players that you've played against, or that you've maybe measured yourself against in the time that you were in Toledo?
Oh, boy. I'm not going to lie. I think who I looked up to the most was Sasha Daly. Got to give it to her. I think she was one of the first players that I watched. Her work ethic, like she used to come pick me up. We used to work out together. Sasha Daly was for sure the toughest player that I played against and the one that I looked up to. But then also, as I grown into the WNBA, me and Natasha Howard have begun to grow a great relationship. She helps me on and off the court. So I definitely look at her as a big sister. And we plan on doing some big things. We're really trying to get on the same team at some point. So if we can really knock that out, that'll be big for the city.
Yeah, it would.
Rhett, you've been calling games for a long time. When did you realize that Zia was the real deal?
Her freshman year, when she stepped on the basketball floor, it was that obvious. But I remember those games, Rogers and Notre Dame, they were classics. And what really stood out to me is about her is it was a game, I don't know if it was your junior or senior year, it was at Notre Dame.
Oh yeah.
It was sold out. The game was hyped, for weeks, and this is what great players do. When the lights are the brightest, they answer the bell. And I think Notre Dame got off to a really good start in that ball game. But you led your team back, and I think you and Madison Royal Davis at the time had a big second half, and you guys were able to walk out of there with the win. But to me, there's separators in this. There's good players, there's great players, but what's the difference? It's when the great players have the moment and they don't relinquish the moment, and they come through and lead their team to victory. You did that night in and night out. Another thing that I would like to compliment you on, this was an interview you did. This is where I knew that you were different.
Yeah.
I think it was your senior year again. You won the city championship. I think it was your senior year, 'cause I think it was for the 4th time. And you're being interviewed right after the game, and you weren't happy. You were not happy. And you were just like, look, this is great. We've accomplished a lot. But this is not what we want to do. And if we're going to get to where we want to go, we can't play like this.
Yeah.
And that stood out to me as someone who just wasn't happy being there, but you had bigger aspirations and knew that you had to be better moving forward. And I said, not only are you a great player, I said that's a great leader right there too, because I guarantee you, her teammates heard it and they addressed it moving forward.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Zia, quick question. You still like football? Yeah, people don't know she actually was a very good youth football player. Am I lying?
That's very true. But if I'm being honest, I don't like football anymore.
What?
And it's just because it's boring now. I can't even watch it.
It was funny because I heard about you like in the 7th and 8th grade, believe it or not, and I knew you were going to be special then, so I got you on that one, right? But just talking to Coach Smith, he said, hey, there's this young lady. She's going to be really, really good. I'm like, okay, who? Name comes up, and I'm like, okay. Then I see you freshman year, and you're right. You can always tell, like, when people are different. Like, there's just a difference because, let's be honest, you're at the top of everybody's scouting report. Did you feel any pressure coming from 8th grade to freshman year, knowing that you're going to step into such a big role?
I think I did. I think I did feel a little bit of pressure, for sure. I think it was really from my dad more than anyone, and he knows that. But I definitely did feel a little bit of pressure knowing that I was a freshman coming on with players that were all D1 athletes. Yeah. So I really just was going in with my head down, though, for sure. But Coach Smith was on me. He was on me when it came to academics, my behavior, and then definitely on the court. So he held me at a very high standard. But I thank him for it a lot because I think it kind of molded me into the player that I am today.
So another question. What was the difference going from college to the WNBA?
I think the difference, honestly, is the pace of the game. The pace of the game is it's elite. It's a whole nother level. And then in college, you probably play against 2 good players on each team, but when you're in the WNBA, each and every player that's regarded is good. And I think that's the hardest part about it, is being able to show up each and every night and prove that you are just as good as everybody else. But the pace, I got to say that's number one, because that's something that I'm still working right now to get in WNBA shape.
It's the hardest league in the world to make, which is something that I'm not sure everybody realizes. But, as like college basketball and the WNBA have really taken off in popularity, you think of all the great players that you watch at one level of the game and how few roster spots there are in the WNBA. It is a grind. Like, how do you make the determination of whether you want to play in the off season or not, just based on, keeping your body healthy and what's too much maybe physically?
Yeah, I think with me, the reason why I kind of waited a little while to go overseas was my first year. I came from a national championship, had to get right in the WNBA. My body wasn't ready for it. Then the second year, my endorsement deals it was out the roof. So it was like I didn't want to leave. And then this third year, I just decided that I needed to do it. I think especially just being honest, the year that I had, I didn't play much. I sat the bench majority of the whole season. So I think it wouldn't even make sense for me not to go overseas. And like I said, it's really to prove a point, to show how much I love the game, to show that I can handle adversity and I can be in different places and still survive. Like I said, I plan on going back overseas soon here. And I'm super excited for training camp and to see what this new team will look like for us.
So I got a question for you. Throughout your development as a player, Coach Smith, one of your mentors, and then you go to Coach Staley at South Carolina. And she's one that I love to watch her go about her business, what she stands for, and obviously coaching the team. What has she done for you in terms of aiding your development? In what areas has she aided your development and that means the most to you?
Man, I think, first of all, I just want to say how blessed I am to be able to have Coach Coach Smith first, which was a great mentor, even though he was a man, a great mentor for me, more like a father figure. And then to be blessed again to be coached by Dawn Staley, which is a legend, both legends, and both were able to mold me into the player that I am today. Coach Staley has helped me throughout each and everything that I've done so far in my career, my highs, my lows. I can call her when I'm crying, when I'm happy, it doesn't matter. Like, she's gonna always be there for me. And it's truly a blessing to have those two, to say that I was coached by them. And I'm praying that, you know, I can find another coach like that and be able to build relationships, because they taught me how to build relationships with coaches. And it's kind of like a pro and con at times, because I'm so used to having someone that I can go to. So now it's just all about being able to do that at the pro level as well.
And outside of basketball, and I always look at this like when I watch people who are on a big stage, the wow factor for you. So is playing against others or being in LA and, you know, maybe you're out at dinner or whatnot, have you had that wow moment, like, wow, there's so-and-so that I've always looked up to or I've always seen, but now they're standing right in front of me?
Like just a random, or like
random? It could be outside of basketball, or even somebody that you're playing against, and you're like, man, I watched her.
I'll do that. I would say playing against. I think when I played against Candace Parker, not my freshman year, but my rookie season, and I tested the waters, and I kind of did like a layup on her, and I made it. I was like, what the? I just made a layup over Candace Parker. Yeah, I think that was a wild moment. And then my first time guarding Jewel Lloyd, she destroyed me, and guarding Enrique. Both of them, oh my gosh. To this day, they're still the hardest to guard. Like, I gotta mentally prepare myself before games.
Zia, what's a typical day like? Because there's a lot of young ladies gonna watch this. Like, when you're in LA in the WNBA, what is your day like? You have a lot of downtime, or are you busy? Like,
honestly, you have a lot of downtime.
Okay.
Like, literally, your mornings are packed up with basketball, and then you'll probably have to get treatment and stuff like that. But then after that, the day is yours. Honestly, it gives you a lot of time to be able to manage being a basketball player and then whatever you decide to do off the court. And I think the way that the game is evolving right now, it's a lot of ways that you can get into other stuff. So the WNBA, I think it's perfect for people that want to get into other things just because of how much time you have to spare.
One of the things that's always been admirable about you, even before you got to the WNBA, I always felt you handled yourself like a pro.
Yes.
Just the things you did for the community, like credit to your mom and dad for real, because you were always professional about going about your business. You always had time for the kids and things like that. Like, when did you develop that? When did you just know, like, I have to do this?
Man, a long time ago. Like I said, my dad instilled so much into me and my brother. My brother was who I looked up to first. Like, I
know your brother.
Yeah. I looked up to him first and watched him literally do everything he did, and I just wanted to be just like him. And the next thing you know, I was in the same position. And my dad he installed so much in me. I knew early that he told me that I'm gonna be older way longer than I am gonna be younger. So he would say, what do you want to kick it
good.
for? What do you want to, you know what I'm saying? And I hated it. Because I'm like, well, I'm only 15. Like, can I go to the party? He wasn't going for it. So now that I'm older, guess what? I'm having fun. Since I couldn't do it when I was younger, I do it now because I'm in a position to where I can do that. But he put a lot in me. A lot in me.
Gave you some good game.
I think this is a Coach Staleyism, right? Like, you can't have league dreams and a backyard work ethic, right? Am I saying that?
Yeah.
She ever tell you guys that?
Yeah, for sure. That never applied to me. I always was on it, but I definitely think that that's super true.
So what do you maybe wish that you knew, or something that you learned over time that you think everybody should know when they're maybe at the high school level? Something that's development, social, whatever it is that you look back on and it's like, you know what, everyone should know this thing.
I think that just the first thing that came to my mind is something that I'm working on now is just making sure you actually watch the game. Like in high school, like we didn't watch film. So
when you're the best athlete. Yes.
You know, like you don't think about doing those things because you're just out there dominating. But it's important to actually watch the game, understand what's going on. And at this point in my career, that's a flaw that I have. I don't watch the game enough. I don't watch film enough. So that's something that I'm definitely dialing into so that I can build my IQ the way that I want to build it. And going into my third year, and I'm in the WNBA. So I would just say for high school players to really dial in. And if you love the game, you got to show that and actually dial into it.
Zia, thanks so much for at least taking a few minutes of your time to sit in here with us.
Yes, of course.
Thank you, Zia.
So you know that crossover is still on TikTok.
Oh, no, it's still going viral.
It's still going, yeah.
6 years later, man, it's
Yeah.
still going viral. Timeless. That's a timeless video.
We're proud of you, and not just as a player, but the person that you are and giving back to the community. It just says a lot about you in totality, and we're proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys for having me.
All right, we've got tip-offs coming up next. Once again, Zia Cooke, thank you for stepping in with us. Go check out her holiday giveaway tomorrow and come back here for more hoops.
See you there.